Shalom Habarim. So now we're in the first annual life cycle period of the cycles of life, right? Being quote unquote born in September, now it's as if we are completely rejuvenated and new. And it's so interesting. Every year when your annual life cycle begins, it is as if you are a new creature. And you start to sense this about a couple of days, gradually before what is known as your birthday. You sense this more and more, and then on your birthday or on the accurate date of it, you will actually feel, wow, that would be a great shot right there. Oy. That would have been a real good shot. Okay, in any case, this is more important though. Wow, that was epic. I just had wow, what a shot. So the evening sun up on the mountaintop, and then this train that had like a goldish color to it below, that would have been maybe I should come here tomorrow and make that. Okay, so in any case, so what's more important is we're talking about now is how the annual life cycle period, when that restarts, wow, there's some beautiful evening scenery here. I was taking some pictures of the landscape and so on because it's a very beautiful evening sunlight on the mountaintops on the other side there. So let's see if I can give you a glimpse of that. See what I'm talking about over there? Yeah. So you've got the annual life cycle period and you're completely rejuvenated. And so first of all, what you have to figure out is your exact birth date. And your exact birth date will read inaccurately on this year's calendar if you are born so and so many years ago when there have been leap years since you were born, because when they have a leap year, lol, what is that? Jumping for joy? Okay, I guess. Yet when you have a birthday and then you have a leap year after that, so like the next year, your birthday is on the calendar. Wow. And it reads a day late. So now every time there's been a leap year since you were born, you have to deduct one day off of the calendar reading of your birthday this year that it is, so that you have the accurate date of your birthday. Otherwise, what will happen is, at first glance, you will look at the calendar and your birthday will simply appear to be, let's say you're born on the 1st of September, 50 years ago. Okay, how many leap years have there been since 50 years ago? So then, whatever number that is, you simply deduct that amount of days off of the date that the calendar reads that your birthday is this year. Because then you actually have the real date of your birthday. Wow, this is getting really pretty here. Yeah? And then, so what then happens is you actually have your real birthday on the calendar identified. And now this is important because the more accuracy you have in watching and monitoring the cycles of life, and that all always having to begin with and starting with the first point of orientation for your life cycles, namely your birthday. The more accuracy you have in this, and the more accurately you can identify your birthday, the better, because then you know exactly where you are in the cycles of your life. Now, obviously, we first started figuring this out at age 33 or so. Obviously, the sooner the better. The more accurate readings you have of your life cycle, the better. Because then you're actually getting, accurate information. You know exactly where you stand in the cycles of life. Now, this is important because, hey, 10 days plus minus makes a difference, okay? Imagine if you're, 80 years old now, 90, 100, you could be looking at up to like 30 or 40 days, potentially even 30 or 40 or more days of potential discrepancy in the identification of the date of your life cycle beginning. In other words, the reading of your birthday when it really is this year in and how and by the way that time linearly progresses. There are no leap years in creation. It doesn't work like that. Everything in creation is geometrically perfectly ordered right and progresses perfectly, equally, and in a linear, in a perfectly balanced way. Like, okay, so now what I'm getting at is that you do have to identify what your annual life cycle period beginning point is, and that's your birthday. So, whether you're 12, whether you're 18, whether you're 30, whether you're 50, whether you're 70 or 150, 100 and whatever, hallelujah, you still have to know what exact date your birthday is, because think about this for a second. What if you were born on the 1st of August, 1975, okay, and then you go forward, and now it's the year 2050 or something. Hey, there's been like, how many leap years have there been since you were born? Like about, it would be like 30 or 40 or 20 or more. That's like a lot of days where, the first annual life cycle period, it starts on your birthday, exactly when your birthday really is, and it goes for 52 days. So if you've got that read out and mapped out and identified like 30 days late, then you would probably notice it, because you would intelligently feel and sense this sort of a sensation that happens around your birthday. Now, anybody who watches and sees this video, listen, you can probably intelligently agree with what I'm suggesting here, in that pay attention to when your birthday is and how you feel, both physically and psychologically, and like you will feel rejuvenated. So you actually you start to feel really fresh and really good and really new in your physical and in your so-called metaphysical and your psychic state and so on. That's because that's when you were, born, and so there's just a cycle of life there that starts, and there's a big positive energy that is like all for you and through you on that time, on your birthday and 52 days after your birthday, right? So, of course, you will, what's interesting is that with all the details of navigating the cycles of life and the precision and all the accuracy and, avoiding discrepancies because of leap years, like, okay, I'm born 37 years ago. How many leap years have there been since then? There's been like more than 10. So now this year, if I have a birthday on a certain date, I have to subtract 10 days or whatever, how many leap years there have been. Otherwise, I'm getting inaccurate information. But see, you will also automatically sense, and like the sort of the universal and the divine, and like the guidance from the Creator will also sort of instinctively assist you to make things work, and to have you instinctively make the right decisions, actually, more than one would think. And sometimes you see this in retrospect. Like, think about this. The average person, how many people out there, dear guests, friends, family, viewers, how many of you actually are into this and pay attention to these details like I'm talking about here? The exact time of your birthday, deducting the amount of leap years since you were born so that you get the right date on the calendar this year, right? So you're not a day early or a day late, yeah? Like, how many people do this? Well, the majority of humans don't. Yet they somehow manage, and usually they manage, let's say, pretty good, because of automatic divine guidance and assistance. You see, the Creator has a way of guiding his creatures, also sort of intuitively and instinctively. Yet it's better if we have a clear, cognizant vision, like magi's, like seers. Because a magi is a seer. You see clearly, right? I'm looking at this here, heavens and earth plane. I know what this is. I know how this works. I know how to accomplish, whatever legit objectives I have, right? You see through it all, and you have enlightenment, and you have mastery, and you're mastering your life and your destiny, and it is no longer a total and complete mystery to you, right? It's like, look, there's nothing new under the sun, yet every day is a new and beautiful, good, divine, life experience. Yet we have a certain amount of insight and oversight to a certain degree and due measure from and with the Creator, from God within us, via the wisdom that He gives us. So what happens is, like, you know, these uncertainties and also the pitfalls and the dangers that the world has to offer, these can be avoided. You can live a life that is good, that is safe, and that is generally like the best possible and increasingly very good and better than you had envisioned, with just a little bit of prudence and self-discipline and divine guidance and practicing self-mastery and being prudent a little bit. Because see, look, I can make decisions now in the next half an hour here that can cause, you know, good things. So what am I doing? I'm vlogging, sharing this wisdom legitimately. But I could also be doing other things right now that could be totally and completely, you know, over the top. I could, yet I'm not going to, because I know that, hey, one idea, one word, one action, one deed, the consequences of that can be good for a long time or very bad. So that's why self-mastery and prudence and discipline is important. So you should subscribe to this channel, repost and reshare the videos here. Like, subscribe, repost, reshare, retweet, and watch, and follow along and like practice what we preach here, because it's good. Self-mastery, the most important, arguably the most important discipline that humanity has on the way in accordance with God's will, right? Making your will obedient to good divine inspiration and guidance, legitimate and happy, you know, and safe and sustainably prosperous living. Okay. And self-mastery, right? Hashtag self-mastery coach. Hashtag divine self-mastery. Hashtag, you know,